Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy, and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to me by Treddy, Treddy at deviantart.com. And these are their characters that we're going to be redlining. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to probably start on, I'm not sure which guy actually, but I just wanted to really quickly say that I have my corrections set at a 10 right now, so we'll see how that goes, and if I don't like it, then we'll step the correction down on Lazy Nezumi. So let's actually start with this guy, just because I think as far as facial issues, like facial anatomy issues, his are more obvious to me. And for once, this is actually not the first thing I'm doing during the day. I've actually been drawing all day today. Let's hope that I'm not too artistically tuckered out. So first things first, I would try to get these shoulders a little wider. And this contour is fine. Like if this was the neck, like, let me show you. If this was the neck right here, people do have Adam's apples that protrude quite a bit, but it wouldn't be like right on the outer contour of the neck. Like it wouldn't like fall like right on that outside line. You want to show like a little bit of overlap. Otherwise it kind of looks like he has something stuck in his throat. It makes me think of that movie Jawbreaker. Ugh, that movie's so creepy. At least that first part. Spoiler, it's like 5 minutes into the movie. Anyway, so now we're going to do the head being tilted back, and I realize that you're not going for a completely centered head. The head's kind of swiveling off to the side a little bit. I'm going to follow that for the most part, but if you wanted to have the head squared with the neck, the face should be rotated that way a little more, like that. Yeah, just making sure. Okay, anyway, so I will do what I can on this way. This is even a difficult angle for me to draw, so first let's draw kind of like a mannequin head, like a crash test dummy sort of head, where it's just that like basic skull shape. Put our center line and then our eye guide. And I'll make a mark for where we want the mouth, and a mark for where we want the nose. And do my infamous side contours into the temple. Okay, so this shape that I do here is mostly useful in finding in general this contour here, this sort of outside cheek contour. I sort of use this as my plane to find like the curves. This is curved inwards and this is curved outwards, and then the chin is kind of curved more out again. And now we can kind of erase these out. Oh my gosh, there is a fly in my office. He will not go away. He's coming right for me. Well, I'm trying to draw a face. And let's just draw an easy nose. And by easy nose, I mean just like a really tall pyramid kind of shape. The nostrils, the center line. Then you have your brows, or not exactly your brows, but like the inner part of your eye socket, and then the eyeballs sitting there. And then you can find your eyebrows like that. So this is basically the shapes that we're going to be trying to replicate up here. And what's nice about all the, oops, wrong tool. I'm going to just delete this for now. What's nice about all these shapes is that they're not too hard to find, especially because this character has his eyes shut. So there's a little, I don't know, I find drawing closed eyes a little easier than open eyes. Same with closed mouths and stuff. You basically have a line that you have to find the location of, as opposed to like an entire group of lines. It's just like just one line. I guess this is more like 3 lines. So I've made this nose pretty sharp in its simplification, but you can always round this off. You can give this guy more of like a Roman nose, which I believe is like a more outward curve on the top, or you can swoop it inwards, slope it inwards. I'm not sure what word I was looking for there, and get some different shapes. I'm doing like the most generic, like straight little nosy I can. So this is like the Cupid's bow area. And another thing you don't want to overlook is the teeth. You want to make sure that you're doing them following the same perspective and head tilt. You want the teeth to kind of like, you're looking up at the bottom of the teeth here. Let me get this mouth. And again, this is more of like an animated cartoonish style, so you don't need to go like totally off the wall realism and get it absolutely perfect, but if you can get it into the ballpark, you'll be the coolest kid in town. Okay. The back of his skull's a little saggy here. Let me try to perk it up a little. So that should do it here. There's a few areas in here that I could have probably cleaned up a little better. I hope it's clear what I meant when I said that the head is sort of going like, it's like rolled that way, as opposed to like, I would have to like do a computer model or something to show exactly what I mean, but it's tilted a little bit different than if it was just like, if his head or like if his chin was aligned to his chest and it was just going like straight back. It's just like rotated around just a tiny bit. It's not a big deal though, and I don't think it like disturbs the connection between the characters, and it's not like an impossible angle that, you know, you couldn't actually reach. And, you know, I still think it's like a flattering pose, I guess. I'm just saying. I'm just making a qualification. Also, I see a lot of artists shy away from this kind of a pose. So it's very bold of you to go for it. I think, I don't know. I used to never do like the chinny poses, but now I do them a lot. I really enjoy them. Anyway, okay, let me this guy's face for the most part is fine. There's like a few little things I'm gonna point out, but overall it's, you know, it's not bad or anything like that. Let me I'm gonna turn the other guy off for now. And I'm gonna rotate the canvas so we can look at him straight on a little bit. So let's do our mannequin face, or mannequin skull, I guess, our crash test dummy skull. So real quick, I'm going to speak out against something that I feel very strongly about. Yeah, I don't feel that strongly about. It doesn't like keep me up at night or anything. It has nothing to do with this red line. But I'm going to talk about it while I work out the landmarks of the head here. I'm not sure what they're called exactly. I don't know if they have like a standard name, but you see them all the time, like in art schools and art stores, art supply stores. They're this like wooden dolls that are kind of I hesitate to say articulated because they're not articulated in quite the right places, but they're vaguely humanoid, I guess. Don't use those. I the reason I speak out against them is because I used to use them a lot, thinking that they were helpful. And what I found, and especially after talking with people who draw a lot of human anatomy and stuff, they're really off. As far as like, I don't know how would I made this eye bigger than it actually is because of my greatness. Anyway, they're just not great for anatomy practice or even like kind of eyeballing out poses, in my opinion. They're like so basic that I find them almost to be detrimental. Like they kind of unlearn. Like if you use them too much, I feel like you unlearn your anatomy. Anyway, so all I really did here was I just tucked his chin in a teeny bit just so he doesn't have an underbite. If he's meant to have an underbite, go for it. That's something I had to kind of learn when I was drawing my profiles, is that the head doesn't just like go straight down chin. It kind of curves under just slightly. Like the bottom of the jaw from the side is like wedge shaped. In fact, I just got into an argument with Dave the other day about why the human body is wedge shaped. Because apparently he got stuck in a lot of things as a kid. He's like, why do they make us like this? And I'm like, I don't know. Quit getting stuck in things. Anyway. So then from there, that was a fun little story, huh? I would say also maybe just slightly move the ear forward. It generally tends to fall, like, I think, I don't know. I was going to say it tends to fall in the middle of the skull. Like, if you put a box around this, it falls right in the middle. But I would say, like, if you're doing a style like this, I would move it forward just slightly. So let me see here. I actually think this guy's... no. I was going to say, this guy's head's bigger than the other guy's, but I think maybe the sides of his shoulders is kind of throwing me off a little bit here. I'm going to extend the canvas just a bit, just to give me some comfort here. By the way, this person took a photo of their art, and that's totally okay to do. I don't mind that at all. In fact, I kind of like the photos just because they tend to be bigger. They tend to not get sized down. Like, people just send me the raw photos or what have you. So, shoulder, and then I'm not totally sure where the other shoulder is, but I think it's like right there. So I don't really know what the body's doing down here. I was like, what am I doing? I'm just kind of doing fluff right now. I'm not doing mindful drawing. So again, I don't know where the body is exactly down here. It kind of tapers off, or fades off, I should say, which is fine. I get the impression this is kind of like an open concept kind of anime poster sort of sorry, I keep using the word anime. Like, I always hated when I was younger and everybody would be like, oh, is that anime? And it's like, no, it's Batman. But, you know, I think that also, by the way, if this is part of the anatomy, I apologize. Like, if this is kind of a Skeksis, like, spine sort of a thing going on here, I can't exactly tell you how to do it, but just remember to find your spine, which is essentially just a tube that runs down the back, and follow that home, I guess. Follow it down to where the pelvis starts, which would be, again, I don't know where this character could have his legs like tucked up like that, for all I know, but this is kind of, I think, what you're going for. But anyway, when it comes to doing sort of these fantastical anatomy, there's not a lot I can tell you because, like, I haven't developed this anatomy myself or anything like that. But what I would say is build up the back, if this is supposed to be like his spine, like his vertebrae or what have you, or like a hunchback, and then from there, think of it as a 3D shape that's sort of, you know, if you have to use contour lines to find the literal contour of this character's flesh and back. So, yeah, sorry, I'm kind of getting a little lost here, but, and then you can give him like little vertebrae bumps. Again, if that's not like what's going on here, I apologize, but for future reference, I guess, or for anybody else who needs it. And so then arms. Try to make sure your arms aren't too short. I'm actually probably shortening them a little bit just to keep them in frame, but I think his arms would need to be even longer than what I'm drawing them here. In fact, yeah, I guarantee they need to be longer. Let me just step back a little bit here. That one might be okay because it's kind of in perspective, but what it's going to end up doing is I'm going to have to move all this. What it's going to do is throw your world into complete turmoil. No, it's just going to change where his hands fall. Unless you shorten, or if you push this arm back more. So let me see here. No. Sorry, I'm doing everything wrong today. Turn that off. Okay. So let me try not to be a huge baby here and actually just do it. I was gonna like try to step back more or go back in the history more, but I think that'll work. So if like, I think that'll be okay for foreshortening. So I like to just do these kind of basic mitten shapes. Until like I really sort of like get down pat what I'm looking for. Sorry, when I do that all the time when I'm like talking and drawing. I take these big pauses. Big dramatic pauses. Okay. So real quick, let's do the other arm. And again, I'm going to do kind of a mitten shape, and then I'll break that shape down a little better here, but just for now. So, one way to do this, because otherwise I think his elbow kind of is getting tucked in too much here, to make his arms look a little longer and whatnot. And a good way to find elbows is I like to put, sorry, I just heard somebody at the front door. What I like to do is I put, please God, don't let somebody be breaking in to murder me on Red Line Tuesday. Okay, so put the elbow off so you get kind of like a triangle effect. And then from here, or a mark or something, I just use a circle because it's easier. Then from here, you can kind of rough out your arms, which I'm doing terribly at, but see, now I've gone and made a mess of it. I'm gonna have to use a little bit of magic here just to keep the video time down. I've been trying to limit myself to about 30 minutes per episode. A few of them have gotten a little out of hand this season, but that's okay. We're all learning. I get kind of fixated on something and I can't drop it until I kind of figure it out. It's good for me though. It's good, you know, art exercises and whatnot. Okay, so anyway. So that arm looks a little skinnier. Really, I shouldn't be worrying about this. Take care of the pounds and the pennies take care of themselves. It's an old saying. Northern Lion lately won't stop saying it, and so now I'm saying it all the time. To be fair, he probably hasn't said it for a few weeks, but it's stuck with me. It's good advice. Okay, anyway. So like that. Got yourself a fine and dandy body now. Okay, so let me fade some of this. And then I'll show you how to sort of break the hands down and find fingers in a healthy, happy way. So for visual's sake, I'm gonna mask these off a little. Gosh, I hope that's not too confusing. I hope you can see that. So, there's a couple different ways to go about doing hands in a style like this. One way is like a two-jointed finger, or wait, I guess it's like technically a one joint and then a two break, which is kind of what you're doing here. And the end of the finger, the end of the second, is that a phalange? I'm having a moment. Anyway, the end of the bone kind of curves out, and that gives the illusion of the third joint rather than like going like which can come off as kind of skeletal or being like overly complicated for some styles, but there's kind of two ways to break the fingers down, I guess, like two big ways, and then those are kind of the two ways that, so either do the 2 joints with the 3 phalange, or 1 joint with the like a right angle with like the slight curve out, which is the 3rd phalange implied. Am I saying that right? I hope it's phalange. I'm gonna sound like a dumb if it's not. So anyway, so let's get going on the fingers here. So the inner, the bottom of the palm is just like a gentle curve, and the top of the hand is a little more of like a pyramid shape. I'm gonna have to do this quick because I have to do something after this, or very soon. So there's the thumb. One nice thing about doing digital art is if you make like little mistakes like this, or if you're just like, yeah, I don't want the thumb, you can kind of flay the thumb up into a different position, and it's not, you don't have to like go in and erase. I remember one time I was doing digital art in a stream. This was years ago, but it always stuck with me because I was always like, she's coming for me. By the way, the peak should be a little more centered over the middle finger. But I was doing some digital art one time, and I had like a mistake like that. Like I didn't like the way a finger looked or something. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just transform it, you know, like I normally do. And somebody in the chat was like, oh, I bet that's nice. You just whoop, 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 and no big deal or whatever. You know, but I draw traditionally, and I have to like erase it and go in and completely redraw it. And I was like, yeah, that sucks. Like I didn't know what to say. So this whole hand ended up a little long and mutated for my taste. So yeah, there we go. Now it's appropriate that the palm is more like in the correct position. Let me just smooth this out a little bit here. So because I'm a child and I want things now and fast, what I would do if I was doing this digitally and this was my drawing, I would take this and I would just put it over here and like redraw the fingers to be kind of going out the other way. Since I'm not a huge baby, I'll dig in here. So I realized that this fellow's head is covering up this this hand and thumb and everything for the most part, save for the fingers. But I'm doing it. I'm drawing it. So anyway, this is sort of where I would go with this if this was my drawing, and it is now. You've given me permission for it to be. No, I'm teasing. You didn't read the fine print. Now it's mine. Now it's my art. Yeah, just do something like that. I'm fluffing around with it too much. I'm like, wee, having too much fun. I hope people start sending me more like props and cars and things. That's a lame thing, but I don't mind doing bodies. But it would be good for me to, guys, help me out. It would be good for me to work on inanimate objects more. I tend to, like that skateboard last week was wicked fun to work on. Anyway, this is still fun though, don't get me wrong. I'm not like moaning. I'm not like, gosh. Because every time I draw a hand, I'm hopefully that much better at drawing hands. So, just real quick, I realize this hand is now like in a different position. Personally, I find this position to be lovely. I think it has some nice angles, but let me real quick try to get it more. Hey now, you're an all-star, stop it. Let me try to get it more into, so I'm gonna have to like move this arm a little bit. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, someday this technique will come back to bite me in the ass, but it hasn't yet. I will say, if you do stuff like this, make sure that you're going back over your limbs to make sure that they're like sitting correctly, and you're not just like taking, you know, body parts and rotating them all over God's green earth, and they're turning into like mutated abominations in doing so. This hand should be more like that. Okay. So, oops, let's do like this. And let's make this guy a different color. Let's make ground boy like a teal. Or bottom boy. Wait, no, not bottom boy. That came out quicker than I should have let it come out. Not bottom boy. Just mask off some of this red so we can get a better idea what we're looking at here. There we go. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, the hair is fine for the most part. I maybe would put a little more up top or something, but I'm not gonna harp on you for that. Now, I realize I kind of, every time I redline stuff, I tend to default to my faces and my visuals and, you know, my stylistic preferences. Again, if these things don't work for you, if you wish that the cheeks were more sunken in, or the chin was more protruding, or the nose was a different shape, that is all up to you. I'm just trying to show you kind of like, sort of trying to like bring the features back into like an anatomical congruence, if that makes any sense. So, oops, scratching my forehead. So, yeah, I like this one a lot, actually. I like these poses. I like these faces. I think it all turned out really nice. Pat Emmy on the back. And, yeah. I think that's it for this one. I kind of went over my time a little bit, but that's okay. Keep sending your Redline Tuesdays to emy.bitner at IntroducingEmy.com. And thanks to Treddy at deviantart.com for sending this to us. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.